Hi Guna,
Hello, Alessandro.
can you hear me?
I can hear you loud
Let me
and
just check if my microphone is right. Just a second. I don't see anyone yet. Just a minute.
take your time.
Haha. Yeah, so my microphone was not properly connected. I'm fixing it right now. There you go. Okay, now I should be able to switch to my proper microphone. Can you still hear me, right? Let me see. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Is it better than before?
It's a bit better than before. There
Yeah,
you go.
it's a proper microphone. Okay, here we are.
Okay.
What do we do now?
We
I
wait for.
think
Go ahead.
we wait for something to happen.
Or somebody to walk in. I think they are showing the. Let me look at this because they are showing. I think the department presentations as well.
Okay, Sanella, important details. Log in about 10 minutes early for your session to make sure all works and that you're ready. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm just reading the notes from, it was actually, Thursday she sent this email. Sorry, I thought it was this morning. Please make sure that you're in a quiet space. Yeah.
She doesn't have children yet, huh?
I don't know her personally. I don't remember. Is she young?
Yeah, somewhat young.
Okay, so maybe she doesn't. Okay. Oh, there is a chat with, no, the chat with the dean was until 12:30. Then there are some other departments. Okay.
Yeah.
Are these admitted students or students are planning to apply? That's not entirely clear.
I think at this point it is admitted students because they
Gotcha.
call it admitted Spartans Day.
I understand. Because I have a small present. Can I share my screen? Yes, I can share my screen. I have this deck of slides here.
Okay.
You should be, you don't see them. Let me redo the sharing.
Because they have, okay, because they have somewhere else they said live presentation from department. Let me check that.
I have them at hand in case there are any questions.
Okay.
You know, you never know. Yeah. This is based on, mostly it's based on the recent transfer advising we did last July, but I make sure that all the information is up to date, that there is all the advising information for this fall with the new classes like 116.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that I forgot to do is Yoon. Let me see if I can.
That's a quick fix.
Let me see if I have Yoon. I don't have a picture, but I should have a picture in my mailbox. I think she emailed it to me. You with an attachment. There you go. I got it. Okay. I can fix this on the fly then. Okay, and let's make these the right size. Should about yay. Okay, almost done. There's still nobody, right?
Nobody that I can see.
Sounds good. Okay, I think we are this in the back. Let's delete this one. There you go. Now we have Yun. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. And actually, I should add that there's one more faculty coming this fall, but we don't know yet.
We don't know
I
yet.
was a little bit concerned from your email this morning because you said that the offer letter was sent a week ago.
Yeah, and
I would expect somebody who's interested to respond within a week.
yeah, this thing's been slow because I waited for about 10 days after we submitted our
Guna,
yeah.
before you go on, this is being recorded, so
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know how much information we can.
yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, and it's not my recording. It's I think it's Sanela. So
yeah, that's right. Yep.
So
Yeah. So it should be in the works.
should we, let's hope so. Let's hope that
Yeah.
there is a positive outcome.
Yeah. Got to be careful these days. You don't know who's recording you.
Yes.
At least here, Sanela said that we will be recorded.
Hi, Sanela. When you watch this, how are you doing? Anyway, yeah, we cannot conspire against the college right now.
Not that we do, but
no, you don't want to conspire with me? Okay.
I'll conspire with you.
I'll take it as a hard rejection. Oh boy, let me see if there was anything else that was here that the industry advisor council, we need to update this slide, but it doesn't really matter for today.
For this purpose, it doesn't matter.
No.
I'll send out the updated. I'm still getting some responses, and this week I need to get on top of that and organize the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me look at if there is anything else here. Not really.
Let me check something else. I'll be right back.
I'll be here, no problem.
This is weird because there were two links, one to the website and one to the department presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I click on the department presentation, see what we get.
Who's that?
I don't know. It is some other, it's gone somewhere else.
Does it say BME anywhere?
Now, and they're now putting on last year's presentation that I think Folarin and you did.
Maybe it was Matt.
Matt.
But I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, but they're running it from YouTube, I think.
Okay, it means that students already have the present. That's fine. Just that where are the students? I don't know if we should email Sanel at this point because
yeah,
I mean I understand that she might probably be busy and overwhelmed right now.
Yeah, would you mind sending Sanela an email saying what's going on?
Okay.
I think there's only one Sanela.
Yeah, no, I can respond to the email she sent the other day, so it's a direct response. Just that maybe I'm not sure she's checking her email right now. If she's running forth and back virtually. Hi, Sanela.
Maybe we can put it in the chat.
in the Zoom call you set up for BME, but there are no students yet. Should we keep waiting, or has it been rescheduled? Alessandro. Okay. Done. Let's see what happens.
I'm sending her a chat.
Oh, you think she might be in the...
Yeah, people on Zoom seem to watch the chat more often. I just said, Sanela, we are having problems logging in.
I'm not sure if she's in this chat though. Yeah, I suspect that it's just you and I here.
That's good.
Yeah, quick question. Did you see the email from a few minutes ago from Peter Coronado about the judges?
I saw it. I saw the earlier email and responded, but not the one from a few minutes ago.
I think it was from, yeah, about 15 minutes ago, and he's asking for 2 judges.
Yeah. He was looking for 4.
He got already 2. He got Yoon and somebody else from kinesiology, Karen Jeffrey.
Oh, yeah, Karin Jeffrey.
Okay.
The thing is, I think at the same time, I have something else going on, which is why I couldn't volunteer. No, you can tell people.
But this is being recorded.
Oh,
I understand.
yeah.
Let's see if somebody else volunteers. I'll step in if really needs to be. I have a huge backlog right now that I'm fighting this backlog of things. This morning I put together like a list, like, so what do I need to do to get like back on track? And from a rough estimate, it was like, okay, I should spend 13 hours working this weekend to get back on track.
Oh boy.
I was okay, that's not gonna happen, but
Yeah.
maybe I can do half of that.
I don't know. Somehow, the last.
Oh, here's Sanela.
Yeah.
Hi, Sanela.
Oops. Did she disappear?
Yep.
The moment she disappeared.
I think she made us host or something. I think she changed our status. Now you're the host. And then she left. Maybe that's all she needed to do. Which may suggest that people are coming, maybe. Just preparing the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. She hasn't responded to my mail yet. Anywho. I mean, I'm glad to be here chatting with you. It's you know what? I like this better than the phone calls.
The Zoom chat?
Yeah, next time we talk on a weekend, let's do it with Zoom.
Oh, I'll be happy to do that.
The thing is that with the phone, for some reason, the quality of the audio is bad. Here, because maybe it's because I have like proper headphones that I cannot use with my phone, because the phone doesn't have the headphone jack anymore, but that's a different story. And so maybe it's because I see your face, but if it seems like your voice comes too clear.
No, I think the benefit of doing a Zoom is the visual is there to go with the audio message.
That's true. Facial expression is important. Non-verbal communication. Yeah. If I say something stupid, I can tell from your face immediately. Okay, I said something stupid. Okay. You were saying something about this semester?
Yeah, it just seems so hectic and crazy. I don't think I've been this busy in a long time,
I think last time you were busy was when 2 or 3 faculty, including myself, were on parental leave.
Yeah,
It was a couple of years ago, couple and a half years ago.
yeah, I think it was it you
It
or
was,
you and
me, it was Mindy, and it was Folarin, I think. Yeah, it was me, Mindy, and Folarin.
yeah.
And you had only Matt and Pat. No, Ben was gone already. It was just you, Matt, and Pat.
Yeah, but somehow we managed, and this time it seems to be even worse.
Because there's COVID on top of everything else. So it's two things. I think that's the reason. And then, you know, as we move on with the department, some things are settled and so become more established, but there are some other things that actually the workload increases over time.
Oh yeah, the workload has been.
Because we have more students, we have more classes that we're offering, so that adds.
And now I'm looking for instructors for the classes.
Right.
Did you see a visitor?
A visitor?
Did somebody? No. I was looking at your facial expression.
No, I was just trying to figure out how this thing is working, but no, still no response from Sanela. No, there is no visitors. Yeah, so you're trying to staff the classes for the fall.
Yeah. And then the bombshell that I got, I think, during this past week that I haven't even addressed yet, is Smita is not going to be able to do advising for us.
Ouch. Ooh.
And she was taking care of all the juniors. And I think, let's see, Pat is going on leave again. Well, this is the first time Pat is taking leave.
See if I can pause the recording here. I cannot pause. No, maybe you can.
Role, but I'm really interested in medical applications of engineering, so specifically medical devices. And I saw the coursework kind of looks a little bit maybe materials heavy to me. I don't know if that'll be shifted or if there's some wiggle room with regard to the curricula, but that's kind of my only initial takeaway. I'm really keen to also get done as quickly as possible. I don't know what that would really look like for my own personal roadmap. Those are kind of my preliminary thoughts.
Okay. So to some extent, you know, it's not really all that materials heavy by comparison. To some extent, there is wiggle room to make changes. Well, for one, you've got to work with an advisor. But for one, you've got 2 technical electives that can be geared in the there we see you. Hi.
Hi, gentlemen. Hi there.
Hi.
So we can talk about that offline, but we are open to minor adjustments to the curriculum. Some of the things that we feel all biomedical engineers, if you're going to call yourself a BME, should have. Things like transport phenomena, the foundations course, and so forth. So think about what you may like to have to include, and we can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, I think the general emphasis of our program is on devices, and so materials is a small part. I mean, a small but important part of devices, because you know.
Hi, Alessandro. This is Sanella.
Hi, Sanella.
So the link that is on the website, I just clicked on it and it works.
But it doesn't contain the passcode, apparently.
But it did not ask me for the passcode, so it shouldn't be asking students for the passcode either. So I don't know how that is happening because I just tested. I went directly from the website. And
I think if you're the host or the co-host of the meeting, you don't need.
No, actually, Guna is the host.
But I needed a passcode to get in.
And Amanda here is telling us that she couldn't access these until she got a passcode from somebody in a different meeting.
And I don't have it because I didn't set it. I set up the first meeting, and then when the admissions office told me that I couldn't set up all the meetings because of closed captioning, then we had to ask you guys to set up your own link. Which somebody, hold on, let me see who emailed me this link from
Probably from Emilio.
Biomedical. Give me 1 second, let me double check.
So, Sanela, I don't know if you're still hearing me.
Yeah,
But the situation we're in now is that Guna and I don't have the list of the students who are supposed to attend this meeting. So I have the link here that is the complete link to the Zoom that embeds the password, but I cannot send it to the students because I don't know who the students are. So if you have the list of the students who are the emails, I can either give you the link or you can give me the students' names, and either way we can work this out.
Yes, let me just see really quickly here. So either, because I thought it was you who set it up or Emilio, your admin.
Emilio.
Oh, Emilio set it up.
Yeah.
He set up so let me see here. So password is 493821.
Correct. Yes.
But we can't edit it because he set it up unless you have his phone number to ask him to log in and change that, to remove that. So let me see if I have the list. Give me 1 second.
Can I ask a bit about demographics, Dr. Salvador, along gender lines and how big the program is by year?
I think, hold on just a second, let's take care of this. But along gender lines, we are about very close to 50% female. It's
yes,
like
46, 47%.
Sorry?
Yeah, 46, 47%. Total population is a little bit above 400 for the undergraduates. And if you combine undergraduates and graduates, we are close to 500 students in the program.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a fairly diverse community. We have students from all over the place with a strong component of Latinx, strong component of people of like American-born Vietnamese or American-born Chinese. We have a small component of African-American students. I think I'm the only Italian in the program, as far as I know.
Ciao.
Ciao. You were in Europe for study, or you are originally from Europe?
For studies. I was in Finland and Germany. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Where in Germany?
In Berlin.
Oh, okay, okay.
You got the best of Germany.
Yeah.
I love Berlin. Yeah, I lived there a number of years. I was staying after and working, and I really love it.
So you can speak German with Gunnar now.
Yeah, yeah.
You are
Passed
in
all these
Deutschland 3
exams.
Jahre.
Pardon me?
Ich war in Deutschland 3 Jahre.
Ach, Sie waren in Deutschland 3 Jahre. Wo waren Sie?
In Karlsruhe.
In Karlsruhe. Ah, eine gute Freundin von mir kommt aus Karlsruhe. Das ist ganz schön. Eine alte Stadt. Nice.
But I haven't used German for 30 years.
Hey, you can practice with me. I'm using it every day at work, so.
I understand what you're saying. German is easy. Or you were speaking English all along.
Yeah. No, I think Italian is actually supposed to be a good language for Anglophones to learn because the pronunciation is supposed to be a little bit more accessible, I guess, and the grammar isn't too crazy. I've read that at least. I don't know how much that's true.
50% true. The
Okay.
pronunciation is way easier because there are like strict rules of pronunciation. So once you know those basic rules, you can apply them without any doubt, which is not the case with the English language, where there are no rules basically for pronunciation. I have the list. Yes, Sanela, if you can email it to me, I'll email the link to the students. But for the grammar is the difficulty of the...
Sorry.
Yes.
I think the passcode was 493821.
Yes, I have everything here. Just need the students' emails.
Oh.
Yeah, the passcode is in that email that Emilio set it up. So I have the list. I'm emailing it to you right now. I did indicate in my instructions to not check that box, but he probably didn't see it. Okay, just sent it to you.
Okay, I'm refreshing my inbox here. I think we should give Amanda A+ for the initiative to go and fetch the passcode.
Seriously,
Thanks. I think
good job.
you guys, thanks. Please thank her name, Adriana Doubt. If anyone knows her, she was really nice. I just entered the aerospace meeting in a panic and just wrote this message, and she reached out and said, hey, she'll write to some relevant people and get back to me.
Okay,
she
so I will leave you guys now. I'm going to check the mechanical session and make sure everything's fine in that one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, I'm working here on the list. It's in a spreadsheet, unfortunately, so it's gonna take a few extra seconds to get it. But okay, so if I do these, is it possible? This doesn't sound right. It's a list with the... It's 630 names. Good. Did we get 630 applicants?
I think to begin with, that's possible.
Okay, I'm gonna email all of them. Let's see if...
Not those who are admitted, but
if it works.
who applied.
Okay, my email didn't crash. That's a promising. Okay. So with the Spartan day. For it again. And the passcode should be unnecessary, but let me put it anyway, just in case. Okay. Let's see what happens.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Okay, let's. I'm getting a strange of a message here when I'm trying to send this. I don't know why. Maybe it cannot handle 600. I mean, it should work.
Google Gmail has a limit of 500.
Is it? Okay, let me do it in 2 chunks then.
Yeah.
So let's do a chunk of 300, and then we do the other 300. So stop here. Okay, let's try. Nope. Even with 300, it's not working. I don't know. I don't know if there could be an issue where some of these emails here are not valid email addresses, but it's not telling me what the problem is. This is so frustrating. Thanks for your patience, Amanda. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. Is the formatting correct when you just kind of copy pasted the addresses into Gmail?
Yeah, I was doing it from my email client. Now I'll do it directly from the browser. See if there was an issue with my. So let's try and do this again. Recipients. Again, the trick of the. Okay. They seem to be correct, and then the subject line. Okay. The first one seems to have gone through. Let's try the other one. The other half.
I got your email just now.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good.
So that must be a good sign.
It must be a good sign, right? So you're in the top half.
Yeah, I thought alphabetical order.
And then the recipients, the second batch should be this here.
Hey, I think the timing's good. You rectified things within the hour the meeting was scheduled for, right? I think that's
a positive.
applause worthy. Yeah, No big deal.
Thank you. I'll take there's what's the encouragement grade? The C plus?
No. For you, we'll come up with an A++. We got 2 customers now.
No, I mean for me, my grade is not that good, but Amanda did great finding the passcode.
Thanks, but it's also not your fault. This was a bit hectic, so I don't think you deserve less than an A either.
Thank you. I'll take it. Okay, good. I'm getting a couple of errors. I mean, it's expected that there's a couple of emails that are not valid out of 600, but that means that this is going to. Okay, that's good. So I think Gun and I will have to sit and wait and see if somebody shows up. But for Amanda,
Alessandro.
People are coming in.
Yeah, there are a bunch of people coming in.
Okay, this is working.
Give them a couple minutes before we get started.
Okay. Okay, so Gunnar, do you want to start at 2:30-ish at this point?
2:25 according to.
Yeah, we're starting like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
That should be enough to get the correct link and access the Zoom call.
So Alessandro, you can stay beyond 2:30, right? I'll stay as long as necessary.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, those of you who are already logged in, please give us a couple more minutes. We are waiting for the others who are not able to find the website. I think now that we've corrected whatever was wrong with it, there are more people walking in. So in a couple, 3 minutes, we will get started. Get your drink of water, smile at the cat, whatever is appropriate.
Gesundheit.
Danke.
Gerne.
Shall we get started, Alessandro?
It's a good time to start. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Alessandro Bellofiore. I am a faculty in the BME department at San Jose State. And here with me, we have our department chair, Dr. Gunnar Salvadore.
Welcome, everyone. Sorry about the technological problems, but as you can tell, patience has prevailed. So it's a pleasure to have you here. Please feel free to ask any of the questions that you may have. Nothing there is in our books, no such thing as dumb questions. If you have a doubt, chances are half of the others in the group have the same doubt. So you'll be doing everybody a service as well. With that, I'll let Dr. Bellofiore start his presentation, and feel free to stop us along the way. We'll do the best we can. Okay, thank you again for being here. And Alessandro?
I'm here.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get started, just to have a check with you, there is like about 10 people in the on this call, and I would like to understand if you had access to a video with the orientation for the BME program before I start. So based on that, I will adjust my presentation. to make it longer or shorter. You can raise your digital hand in Zoom if in case you have already watched the video of the orientation. No access. Okay, so we haven't watched the... Okay, sounds good. So let's assume that you know pretty much anything about the department and the program. So I'll give a brief presentation, and at any point, please feel free to interrupt me, and I'll be happy to take any questions. So let me start this thing here and share. Oops. Again. Okay. Okay. I think you should be able to see my deck of slides now. Let me pull up your names and the chat just in case. In case you want to put your questions in the chat instead of asking with the microphone, that's fine. I'll keep an eye on the chat.
I'll keep an eye on the chat.
Sounds good. Thanks, Gunnar. Thanks, Gunnar. Okay, so you've already seen our faces here in Zoom, but this is me and Dr. Gunnar. Again, we're both faculty in the Department of Biomedical Engineering at San Jose State. Gunnar in particular, to Salvador, is the department chair and is actually the originator of the program, and it's been his work of many, many years, over 10 years, to make this possible. And so, again, I am thankful to him for creating this community of learners, which I'm happy to be part of. And apparently you will be part of too.
Yes.
So let's move here. Okay. I had this slide up here, and I understand we were supposed to start about an hour ago. So I'm not sure if we have time to do self-introductions, but maybe we can do a short version of that. Who wants to just introduce themselves? If you feel comfortable doing that, you can just like tell me your name and maybe what's your undergraduate. No, you don't have it undergraduate degree. Sorry, this was but you can tell me where you're from. Let's start from Amanda.
You've got to unmute, yeah.
Sorry, my computer froze just a moment. Yeah, hi, my name's Amanda. Had the pleasure of getting to chat to Dr. Salvadore and Bellafiore a bit as we troubleshot some tech hiccups here. I am from the US originally. I've lived my adult life overseas in Europe and Australia, however. Hobby, I don't know, I play ice hockey and guitar, like Instagram, I suppose, for social media, and I will play ice hockey again when COVID-19 is a thing of the past.
Thank you.
Nice. There is a good team right here, ice hockey, Gunnar.
Yes.
I think so. Okay. Anyone else who wants to introduce themselves? You don't have to, but you have the opportunity to do that. Okay, sounds good. Seems that you prefer not to do it. Okay, I'll go on here with my presentation. Okay, so there is a deck of slides that I'm not gonna go into details here, which tells you how great is the biomedical engineering department and particularly the undergraduate program, what kind of opportunities you may be exposed to when you're here, and what are what's the outcome of getting a bachelor degree with us. These slides, if you're interested, you can contact me and I can make them available to you. But this is like the TLDR is that you do the right choice. Despite the technical issues that we have had today, this is a very good place to be in the Bay Area at San Jose State in the biomedical engineering department. Okay, so this is kind of like an outline of things that I will try and discuss today with you. So I'll go over a little bit curriculum requirements and see how you can, during your time with us, you can explore different areas and different communities that we have here. For instance, there's a strong community of the student chapter of the Biomedical Engineering Society, which is pretty strong here in our program. They do a number of activities every year, and I'll speak to that towards the end of this presentation. So curriculum overview. This is kind of like the general organization of how learning is organized in our department, which follows the blueprint of most departments and colleges at San Jose State. So there is some content of your learning which is related to general education, so humanities and other. And for that kind of information, these are usually classes that you complete, most of them, during your first 2 years in the program. And for particular advising on general education, I will refer to the office that's called the Engineering Student Success Center, which you probably have already been in contact with before and after your admission. So they are the people who will help you out, figure out what are the general education classes that you need to take in order to satisfy the long checklist of all the GE requirements. Then in addition to that, you take courses that are more like technical courses. So there is a lower division core, which is calculus, chemistry, physics, biology, and some basic engineering courses. And these also you take usually during your first couple of years at San Jose State. And then we move on to the junior core and the senior core. So this is like the juice of the biomedical engineering program, where there is like a number of classes that most of them, if not all of them, they start with the code BME. So it's easy to recognize them. And these again are what makes up most of your technical education in BME. Finally, there is also what we call the culminating experience, which is, for us, it's a senior design project, which is a 2 semesters affair. And it's a sequence of 2 semesters that you start in the fall and you complete usually in the spring. So I put this in bold here because it's important to keep in mind, even if now you're still at the very beginning, keep in mind that this is going to be the culinary experience of your degree in BME, and you need to prepare for that. There's a number of steps that need to be taken to make sure that you can start a senior project when you prefer to start it. So if it's going to be the fall of your senior year, as it typically is, you need to make sure that all the prerequisite classes are completed before then. And so if you have any questions about prerequisites or the senior project in particular, you can just ask in the chat or open your microphone and ask me. There is here a series of program requirements in terms of GPA. I will let you review this information. There is nothing really particular here. The only thing that I want to point out here is the fact that we have mandatory advising every semester. So the way this works is that we want to make sure that every student has a fair shot at completing the degree in the shortest possible time, as reasonable as possible. And so we want to make sure that students don't meander and get lost into the vast offer of courses within and outside of the BME program. And so what we do is that every semester, the College of Engineering places a hold on your file. So you are not allowed to register for the classes for the next semester until that hold has been removed. And so in order to get that hold removed, you have to meet with your undergraduate advisor, which is typically one of us, one of the faculty in the... Oh, there was a hot mic. I'm gonna mute you, Kartik, but if you have a question for me, feel free to open your mic again and speak. I think it was just accidental then. So every semester you meet with your undergraduate advisor and you discuss with them what is the class, the classes that you're planning to take in the following semester based on what you've already taken, based on your expectation of how long it's going to take for you to graduate. Some students try to graduate in 4 years. Some students are okay with taking 5 years to graduate. And so based on all the kind of information in your status, the advisor will tell you, this is a good plan, or maybe you should try and take this class first because maybe it's only offered next semester and then it's going to be a year before it's offered again. Or maybe it's a prerequisite for another class that you want to take soon. So make sure that you take this first so you don't have prerequisite delays later on. So that's the kind of advising. And there is like a process for the advising. I'll finish this little piece here and then I'll go to the questions that are in the chat. I see that there is a question in the chat. So there is a form, the advisory form that you fill out every semester. The way it works is that you contact the advisor via, we have one of the platforms that we use for communications with students is called Spartan Connect. There is like multiple platforms, Canvas, Spartan Connect, and I'm blanking on like other MySGSU. So there's multiple ways to communicate. For advising, we use Spartan Connect because there is a system where you can book an appointment with your advisor there and it works. So you go to Spartan Connect, log in, choose a slot among the available slots to book an appointment with the advisor. When you meet with the advisor is going to send you a DocuSign form that looks a little bit like this. May not be exact like this, but it's pretty much this. And so once you get this, you discuss with your advisor classes for next semester. You put the classes that you come up together with the advisor in this form, you submit the form, and the advisor removes your advising hold. At that point, you are clear to enroll in the classes for the following semester. Of course, you have to wait until registration opens, and registration opens typically the last few weeks of a semester. There is the opening of registration for the next semester. And depending on what kind of priority you are in, you may have access to registration a little bit earlier or not. And in order to find out who, I'm gonna mute this microphone. In order to find out who your undergraduate advisor is, there is a page on our website which we keep up to date every semester. And you will find here that there is this kind of like list. For instance, this semester, I know this is probably an older snap screenshot. Anyway, the semester where this screenshot was taken, I was doing the advising for all the students whose last name was starting with GO all the way to KG. And so you go there and you find out like where your last name is and who your advisor is. That's pretty much all I had to say about undergraduate advising. That's just like one of the topics. So I'll take a question from the chat and then I'll ask Dr. Guna if he has anything to add to the advising part. So the question from the chat is from Joshua and says, we heard from the dean that the BME has plans for a 4+1 program. Will you talk about details? Yes. So I don't have slides here specific to that because it's still a work in progress. So as of today, we don't have any final, decision made about the program, but we are in the process of being approved for launching a blended program. I think the acronym that they use is SAGE, but anyway, it's a blended program where students are allowed to basically with one registration step to do the undergraduate, to get an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in 4+1 year. Details are still being worked out. We don't know yet what academic year this blended program will launch.
The current target is to launch it in fall 21.
Okay.
So it's coming up pretty soon, if the Graduate Studies Office can work out all the bugs.
Right. And so details will be coming up when we get, more final info. But the way it should work, as far as I understand, is that you start as either a freshman student or a transfer student. And then when you get to your third year, so your junior year, you have the possibility to apply for the blended program. And so if you are admitted to the blended program, then you add one more year to your degree. So instead of 4, it becomes 4+1. And you have to make some adjustments in your plan to comply with the CSU requirements for blended programs. And that's pretty much all the information that I have that's more or less confirmed at this point. Anything else to add, Gunnar?
Yeah, so you don't need to commit to this program when you first come into the BME department. Typically, you would be encouraged to commit to the 4+1 program in your junior year. It's required. It is, I think, they're going to require a GPA of 3.0 or higher. And the way this works is typically if you do your bachelor's and master's separately, it's a total of 6 years. Whereas what the 4+1 program offers you is to do it in 5 years. So you're saving all of your tuition and your living expenses for the 5th year if you do this diligently. Having said that, yeah, the way this is enabled is you'll get to quote unquote double count. I think it's probably about 3 classes. This is one of the things we are waiting to hear the final decision from the Chancellor's office. So there are a few things we are still waiting for decisions from the Chancellor's office. But I think domestically, meaning within San Jose State, this is going to happen.
Right. And by the time you get to your junior year, this should be all like well laid out and organized. So that's the good news. There were a couple of other questions here in the chat. So
Can you Joshua's question because it's related to his earlier question?
Oh, okay. So the BS degree currently has a senior capstone. The MS degree currently has a choice of thesis or project. Would the 4+1 program merge the 2 requirements, or would you do both BS and MS graduation requirements? That's a very good question. And it's, as Dr. Saraduri said, it's one of those things where we're still waiting for a final word on the details from the Chancellor's office. However, the way this should work, if the way we have proposed it is approved, sorry, let me mute this microphone again. If the way we have proposed it is approved, is that if you, again, in your junior year, get admitted to the blended program, then you will modify you will still do your senior design project, but the senior design project will be slightly modified so that it can be blended with your master's project or thesis, so that ideally you could have the same topic and carry it over for both projects. What's not gonna happen is that it's not gonna be the case that the senior project can be dropped. That's not gonna happen. And the reason why that's not gonna happen is because every student who is in the blended program, they have the option, once they have completed all the requirements for the undergraduate degree, they still have the option to walk out with an undergraduate degree only. If at some point you got like a job offer that you really could not refuse, or for some other reason you decide that you're not going to complete the 4+1, if you have completed all the requirements for the undergraduate part, which means 120 units and the senior project and some other requirements that are in there, then at least you get the bachelor's degree. So that's why the senior project is going to stay there. But what we're trying to do is to give the possibility for students to blend it with the master's project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on to the next question. are the advisors from the BME department or the College of Engineering? So most of the advising that you receive is from faculty in the engineering department. Occasionally in the past, we have had some help from the Engineering Student Success Center, but I think that was a one-time only situation. So I would expect that moving on, most of the advising is from us. Is that correct, Gunnar?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially the juniors and seniors would be advised by, especially the seniors would definitely be advised by our own faculty. It also depends upon the workload of all the other faculty, and we adjust the workloads every semester.
Is there a lot of overlap between BME and chemical engineering? Would it be a good idea to minor in BME? Okay, so that's a good question. No, there is not a lot of overlapping between BME and chemical engineering. That's the short answer is that no, there isn't a lot of overlapping. The kind of classes that you would take in chemical engineering are not just the elective, but even the core classes in the junior and senior core, they're pretty different from BME. That said, there are some some chemical engineering programs, both in California and in other states, where they have their vocation, their mission is geared a little bit more towards biochemical engineering. And so for those particular chemical engineering programs with an emphasis on biochemistry, there may be some overlapping, but I still would consider them as clearly different and separate. And so the other question was, would it be a good idea to minor in BME? So my interpretation is that a student who would major in chemical engineering and minor in BME, I think that's a good idea, but it's not an option only for chemical engineers. Students with a major in, say, mechanical engineering can choose to minor in BME, or there is a number of engineering programs where it makes sense to combine, because BME is kind of like a multidisciplinary area, and so you can get to BME from different point of view. So there is, for instance, there is a lot of synergy with the electrical engineering. So you could be a major in electrical engineering and choose to minor in BME, and there is kind of like an area of a professional field for engineers who have specialization in both electrical and biomedical engineering. Did I answer your question, Dima?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. There was one more question here. Is BME a good major as pre-med? What resources are available for students? Gunnar, do you want to take a stab at this one?
Yeah. So first of all, the requirements for the BME is indeed a good major for pre-meds, because more and more medical schools are interested in admitting candidates who have a good background in engineering. And this is in recognition of the fact that a lot of the advances being made in the medical schools and in hospitals is really equipment and devices. So that's a good thing. In terms of the requirements to do a pre-med, that's handled by the biology department, so please contact them. Anything I tell you would probably be not correct. In terms of resources, I'm not quite sure what resources you are referring to, but we don't have resources specifically for pre-med majors because we don't have that as a major. Anything you want to add, Alessandro?
No, I think that's, yeah. There was another question here. Can you discuss the BME faculty's research interest? Yes, so we have quite a diverse group of faculty with wide-ranging interests. Personally, starting from me, because that's the person I know best about, my area of interest is cardiovascular mechanics and cardiovascular devices. By experience, by education, I'm a chemical engineer. So I don't know if that expands on the question that was asked earlier. So I'm by education a chemical engineer who switched to BME after I got my PhD. And I consider myself an experimental fluid mechanicist, if that's a word. So I look at blood flows and blood analog flows from an experimental perspective. I do some research on other topics as well, because, just like passion of interest. So for instance, a few years ago, I started working on chronic kidney disease. And so I'm working with somebody in computer engineering to develop a platform for monitoring chronic kidney disease by just using a smartphone and artificial intelligence. So that's kind of like it's a bit of a side project, but it's something that I've put quite some time and investment in it over the past 3-4 years. Then for the other faculty, we have Dr. Bogbo, whose interest pivots around the nanotechnologies. And so he looks at nanotechnologies for either diagnostics. So use these like quantum dots, which are able to scatter all fluoresce, I think. And so they can be used, they can bind to particular components or molecules in the system and be used for diagnostics. Or he also tries to use nanotechnologies for drug deliveries. So there's these two main areas of research that are all related to nanotechnologies. Then we have Dr. Online Weber. His emphasis is on, I would say, a little bit more classic biomechanics. So he's looking at musculoskeletal and gait analysis. So how people move, how the musculoskeletal system works, with some emphasis on the use of wearable technologies to improve the monitoring of, for instance, gait, which is again the way people walk. Who else? Dr. Simon's area of expertise is on microfluidic devices. So she tries to build systems that are more lab on a chip using microfluidics for, I think primarily is for diagnostics. And then there is Dr. Journey, whose primary interest is on vascular mechanics and peripheral vascular devices. I hope I'm not doing an insult to his research. Am I butchering it, Guna?
No, you're doing fine.
Okay. And then we have the latest addition to our program is Dr. Wang. She joined us last fall, so she's been here for 2 semesters, and she comes from an FDA background. And so her expertise in physiology and devices and biosensors, with again an emphasis on the aspect of the regulatory aspect of marketing these, developing and marketing these devices.
Okay, then if I can add another 20 seconds.
Dr. Salvadue.
My background is...
I should have started from the top, sorry.
No, I'm at the bottom anyways. My bachelor's degree is in mechanical engineering, and my master's in material science, and my PhD in metallurgy. A lot of the research that I do is the effect of processing on materials. In particular, one area I've spent a lot of time on is surface modifications and how that affects biocompatibility. For example, if we make changes to a surface, will there be a less propensity for blood to clot on it? This becomes important for devices like stents. Recently, I've also been spending a lot of time trying to understand how sterilization techniques like E-beam, X-ray, or gamma affect materials that are used for construction of medical devices that are implanted, particularly polymeric materials like PTFE, polypropylene, PLA, PGLA, and so forth. That's it. That's 20 seconds, right?
It was 20 seconds. Pretty good. If I'm still reading from the chat, if I want to design medical devices, should I keep BME as my major, or should I pick a design major involved with engineering and major in BME instead? That's a very good question, Aiki. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So yes, so as a biomedical engineer, you would have a range of job functions to access to, which include design, which include manufacturing, quality assurance, regulatory aspects. And so our program's emphasis is on devices, and we try to offer our students all the tools by which they can access jobs that are related to devices, but in all the areas that I mentioned: manufacturing, again, design. In particular, in the recent years, we have tried to increase the emphasis of our program on the design aspects. So we have introduced a couple of classes, at least, plus some electives that deal with that specific topic. So we introduced the BME 25, which is an intro to biomedical engineering design class that students typically take in their sophomore year. And the last fall, we also added a class that's BME 135, which is, it has a kind of like a long name, but at the gist, it's a CAD class. So it's a CAD class where you learn how to use SolidWorks for design of devices and other parts that are relevant to biomedical engineering. And as electives, we have at least one elective which is focused on design, which is orthotics and prosthetics. When you, again, you learn how these devices are designed, what are the concepts and the criteria for the design of these devices.
You can add the medical device manufacturing methods class as well. That is important for people who want to do design. They need to know.
That's BME 188, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, thanks. Moving on to the next questions. What senior capstone projects have been sponsored in the past? Where can I find out about future sponsorship opportunities? I'm not sure I understand the way you mean the word sponsoring. You mean sponsored like promoted by faculty or sponsored by external sponsors? I can answer either one, but I'm not sure what you're asking specifically. Okay, so there is no follow-up. So we have had for a few years now a regular collaboration with at least one company that's located in the Bay Area. This is actually a larger multinational company that's in manufacturing of polymeric and other materials. And they, for the past 3-4 years, they, at the beginning of every academic year, they offer us an array of projects on topics that are relevant to their research and development division. And so we offer in turn these projects to our undergraduate students. And so what happens is that usually we have about 8 to 10 teams of undergraduate students, seniors, who every year start a project that's again, sponsored, if you like, by this company. And these teams tend to be interdisciplinary. So there is students from BME teaming up with students from other programs. Again, depending on the particular topic, if there is an emphasis on electronics, maybe they will be teaming up with students from EE and so on. And most of the work is done actually at the facilities of the company. And we are exploring the possibility, since this model has been pretty successful, we are exploring the possibility to expand this kind of sponsorizations to other companies, with other companies. On top of that, we have occasional collaborations between individual faculty and again, startups in the Bay Area. So for instance, a couple of years ago, I was working with a company that was developing wearable devices for cardiac monitoring, so a heart rate sensor and stuff like that. And that collaboration resulted in some projects for senior students. So some senior projects were based on that collaboration. I hope I answered your question, Joshua. Let me see if there are any other questions. What are some examples of hands-on learning? Guna?
Hands-on learning, if nothing else, the best example would be the senior project itself. You're expected to do hands-on experimental work, bring a design to fruition, carry your research topic as given by your advisor to fruition. I can't think of a better example than that.
So the reason why I hesitated is because unfortunately, like all of you probably, we've been frustrated over the past 12 months or so, 13 months now. Sorry, let me mute this. With the fact that because of COVID, we have very limited access to our labs. So hands-on learning has been somewhat of a challenge over the past 12 months. But looking forward to after the summer, we believe that there are good signs that we may resume most of the on-campus activities, especially in the labs. And so based on that, I can tell you that there is going to be a number of opportunities for students like you to get hands-on, to get your hands on some of the work that we do in the labs. Starting from the starting points are individual courses. So we have a number of courses that we offer that have a lab component, a wet lab component. Some courses, they have a computer lab component, and that's not like a wet lab, but we have classes like 115, 177, I know I'm giving you the number. So it's foundations, it's materials, and it's physiology. And I'm pretty sure that I'm blanking on some other classes where we have wet labs, which 207 is not an undergraduate class. Anything I'm blanking on? And so these classes have a component where students meet in the lab on campus in groups, and they do a number of activities using equipment and materials that we have in our lab. And so based on what you learn there, then by the time you get to your senior year, you start your capstone design project, which again is 2 semesters. And a good chunk of those 2 semesters is spent in the lab doing experiments. I hope that I answered your question. Let me see. I have to catch up with the questions here. So I'll try to give a little bit shorter answers to be a little bit faster. Is there a way to study BME with regard to tissue and such rather than just devices? Okay, so you're asking, this is Dima, if there is any emphasis on tissue engineering in our program. So the situation right now is that tissue engineering is clearly an area where we are interested in expanding. As a proof of that, we are in this year, we are conducting a faculty search process. And if you look at the ad that was originally posted last summer, one of the areas where we are looking for a new faculty would be is tissue engineering. So we're definitely interested in expanding it. Our current offer, however, is we have one elective class that's BME 288 that's called tissue engineering. So that's our main offer there. I'm not sure if I'm missing any other resources that we may have currently, Guna.
No, well, we have good lab facilities.
Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot the cell culture lab.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Go ahead, Guna.
Okay, so I was going to the next question.
Oh, okay. So let me finish then. We have a cell cultural facility that's currently used by several faculty, And so the students who get to work with those faculty, that would be Simon, Journey, and Eric Bogbo, and maybe Yoon as well. They work with cell culture, which may or may not be geared towards tissue engineering, depending on the specific application. You wanted to go to the next question, Gunnar?
The one about companies where people work at?
Are there any BME companies? Okay, so I think I answered the question about external sponsors. So the next one is, are there any BME companies that San Jose State has connections with? Which companies do BME students usually end up working at? Gunnar?
Okay. Well, we have a lot of connections with a lot of companies. We don't depend or rely on just one company. But to give you an example, we have an annual biomedical device conference. This is typically supported by about 25 companies. They actually pay money to come and be part of the conference. That helps put the rest of the pieces together to hold a successful conference. This is completely student run, and it's normally held during the latter part of May during spring break. Where do students usually end up working? They end up working at a lot of different companies. They are in companies like Boston Scientific, Viewray, and a whole bunch of startups. I think our students tend to go more towards the mid-sized and smaller companies where there's a lot of activity and energy and innovation that's going on. You want to add to that?
We have quite a few students who work with St. Jude Medical, for instance, for cardiovascular devices. Yeah, there's a number of like smaller companies that at this point I can't really name, but what I wanted to add to what Dr. Salvador was saying is that so these companies, these about 25 companies that every year join our conference, they pay to be there for the privilege of meeting you. So that's the good thing, is that the reason why they put money and they put their time into these is because they want to come to campus and meet our students to see, you know, what's the latest and greatest in terms of like biomedical engineering, biomedical engineers, and their goal is to hire you. So if you do a good showing at the conference, that's gonna bode well for job opportunities. The good thing is that at least pre-COVID, so for a moment, let's put COVID and the last 12 months aside. I would say that the way above 90% of our students, they find jobs in local companies within a few months of their graduation. I'm pretty positive about that information. It's not like super exact. I don't have the actual numbers, but I believe it's way above 90%, and it's again within months of their graduation. It's really a good place to be here in the Bay Area because there is such a large number of companies that are working in the biomedical field. I think it's anywhere between 400 and 800 companies, between large, medium-sized companies that have at least some facilities here, if not their headquarters. And then there is like a large number of smaller companies. And one other place where you should refer to for, you know, finding out and connecting with these companies is a conference that's organized not by us, but it's a conference that's organized annually in San Jose. It's called the Biomed Device Conference. I think that's the name. It's anyway, the keyword is Biomed Device, spelled like one word. And it's usually organized at the San Jose Convention Center, which is the same where Apple do their WWDC, at least again, before COVID. So it's a nice space that's a few blocks from campus. And at this conference, typically they have about 400 companies attending, participating with a booth every year. And these are like biomedical companies that are located mostly in the South Bay, so around San Jose. So I don't think you have to worry too much about, connecting with companies and finding a job. That's definitely.
We lost you, Alessandro.
Do you have any internship opportunities to work with Neuralink or any neurological devices? I'm not familiar with any internship opportunities like that. I don't know if Guna, do you know anything about that?
No, there are lots of internship opportunities because I keep getting emails from companies that are interested in hiring interns. Whether they are, related to neurological devices, I don't know. I've not kept track of that.
Okay, next question. Can you mention the best opportunities for BME study abroad during this program? Huh.
We have a whole study abroad office, and we have had students who have gone to universities, like, for example, in Australia, where their curriculum matches well with our curriculum. So, so I don't know what is the best opportunity because best can mean different things for different people. But definitely, there is the opportunity for study abroad while you're doing your BS BME, and it's something that we definitely encourage.
All of these initiatives for study abroad, as far as I understand, they're managed at the university and the college level, not specifically at the department level. So if you want, I can try and connect you with some people. Once you're here, I'll connect you with some people who I know that work on studies abroad. There's, I think, Dr. Tsao, Dr. Chang, Dr. Nathan Roberts. Those are several faculty in the College of Engineering who at some level have been involved. Will we get access to this recording? I believe so. I mean,
Yes.
I would believe that the only reason why this is being recorded is to share it back with you. So I'm positive that this will be shared back with you. Probably by either Sanela or Emilio.
Sanela.
Okay, Sanela. Maybe we need to do some editing of the first hour of the meeting where it was just Dr. Salvador and me, just, waiting for you to come over, but we'll figure that out. Is there a chance to work with the biological science department research for stem cell research, or do I need to be in that department? I know that there are some students in our program, so BME students who during their time in our program, they connected with the faculty over in chemistry. And I think it was mostly chemistry. I'm not sure about biology. And so they ended up doing their project there. And it was either their primary, like capstone project, or it was like an additional project that they were taking on just for the purpose of collaborating and getting some hands-on experience in chemistry. Not sure about biology. Guna?
Yeah, we've had students work with faculty in the biology department as well. Not as many as in chemistry, but definitely yes. And then I think the question from Amanda, if your question is in response to what I said earlier, the University of Queensland is one university that seems to have good match with our curriculum.
What's the student to faculty ratio? We have undergraduate students about 400, again, give or take, and the faculty we are planning to be, we have currently 7, going to 8 this fall. This is faculty. We're talking about full-time faculty. I'm not counting the part-time instructors. We have about 7 or 8 part-time instructors in addition to the full-time faculty, right, Guna?
Yeah, well, actually a total of 10 or more.
Oh, okay.
Over both semesters.
How many freshman students are admitted in BME for fall 2021? We don't know yet.
Yeah, but in general, those who actually not just are admitted, but show up, on the order of 80 to 100
every year. Yes.
every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me see. So there are no more questions in the chat, but let me see if I have any other slide that could be of interest. Oh, this could be of interest to you. This is the latest 4-year plan. So this is the study plan for students who are starting in fall 2021. So this will be in time referred to as the fall 2021 catalog. It means that it's this roster of classes that the students starting in 2021 or referring to the 2021 catalog will have to complete in order to get a bachelor degree in biomedical engineering. And there are some classes that are brand new. For instance, there is here BME 116 in the spring of 2022, which is here. If you look at the spring of the year 3, there is a class that's biosensors and bioinstrumentation. That's a new class that's going to be offered for the first time next spring. So if you come into the program this semester, you will be taking this class in 2 or 3 years. And then you can see that there is in the junior fall, there is BME 135, which is the design class that somebody was asking about. So that's like the CAD SolidWorks class. It's BME 135. And it's 2 units and it's 2 units of lab. It's basically lab only. It's all hands-on experience with SolidWorks. There was one more question here. Do many students switch into or out of this major, or do you know the reasons? It's not a large number.
No, it's a very small number, if any. I keep track of the students who switch in, and I do not keep track of those who are switching out because they can switch out without coming to us. But the numbers are even because the total population has kind of stayed pretty stable.
Mm-hmm. Do we take major specific classes starting out first year, or are they generally? So this is Dima. What you see here, this is the current, again, the catalog. And if you look at the first 2 semesters, it's mostly lower division technical classes and GE. So G, there is English 1A and 1B, and then as technical classes, there is engineering 10, there is 2 semesters of chemistry, 2 semesters of calculus, which then continues into the second year. So overall, you get 4 semesters of calculus plus differential equations. There is 2 semesters of physics, which only for reason of space, the second part, that's physics 51, is in year 3. It's not because it's a year T class, but it's just because we couldn't fit them in the first 4 semesters. So again, there is, I would think that it's still way more heavily towards technical classes, even in the first year. They're not major specific though. The first major specific class that you take is BME 25. That's in the fall of your second year. And it's the Intro to BME design class. And it's kind of like a way to ease you into the aspects and all the different fields that are encompassed by biomedical engineering. And then in the junior year, you start taking all of the BME specific classes, starting with 115 and 130 and 68. What electives do you offer for senior year? Okay, so this is a moving answer, meaning that like the answer that I give you now may be different a year from now, because we are a relatively young program. Again, we started as a program in 2012. Let me, again, I closed these microphones just because I'm assuming that they're open by accident. If you intentionally meant to open the microphone to ask a question, I apologize if I mute you. but just open it again and say, hi, I want to ask a question, and you're good. Okay, so going back to the question about the electives. So we started in 2012 and we became a department in 2018. So it's very recently. And we've focused initially on creating like a core of major specific classes, which are the classes you see here. And we are expanding our current offer of electives. So we have currently we have 3 undergraduate electives plus 5 or 6 graduate electives. And again, because we are a young program, at the moment, we allow our undergraduate students to take graduate electives as undergraduate electives. So your offer, your pool is not just the 3 undergraduate electives, but it's the 3 undergraduate electives plus the graduate electives. So that's the way we are bootstrapping this catalog. The undergraduate electives currently are prosthetic and orthotics, manufacturing methods for BME, and biomedical quality systems. And so they kind of like span some of the areas of interest in terms of like design, manufacturing, and quality assurance. Plus, we have core classes like 174 and 178, which deal with the regulatory aspect and all the steps of the life of a device from conception all the way to commercialization. That's BME 178. Graduate electives, we have nanotechnologies, tissue engineering, microfluidics, medical imaging, advanced fluid mechanics for BME, and I don't know if I'm forgetting 1 or 2.
There might be one more, but that's a good number there.
Yeah, right. Okay. I got lost. So if we decided to switch at the end of the first year, we wouldn't have hosted any classes, since you said it's not major specific. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't want you to switch at the end of the first year. I would rather you stay with us for the entire duration of the major and you get a degree in biomedical engineering. But to answer your question more specifically, I think that a good number of the classes that we require for the first year are shared with other engineering programs like calculus, chemistry, physics, engineering 10. These are classes that are more or less required in every engineering program, and even more so with the general education classes like English, like composition, oral communication, AMS, American Studies 1A and 1B. These are classes that are pretty much required everywhere in engineering. So I hope that answers your question. There are no computer science or programming courses as part of BME. We have added the last fall 2020, one class that's BME 133, if I can find it here. It's at the end of the spring of the third year. So it's programming applications in BME. So the way programming articulates in our program right now is that you get your first exposure to programming in BME 25. So when you do the intro to BME design, there is a small lab component where you do a little bit of, I think it's intro to Python currently. So you learn a little bit of the basics of Python and maybe MATLAB as well. I don't remember if it's only Python or if it's Python and MATLAB. Then the next time that you see programming is probably BME 130, which is numerical methods in BME. And that's a class that's been taught by Dr. Online Weber. And the way he teaches this class is with a heavy emphasis on using MATLAB to solve numerical problems in BME. Next, there is in BME 117, which is in your 4th year. That's a class that at least half of the time I teach, because it's offered every semester. I alternate with the Dr. Journey. At least that's been the pattern in the past couple of years. And we both have an emphasis again on MATLAB. So we have students use MATLAB to solve problems that are relevant to transport phenomena. And then there is the new BME 133 class, which is programming applications. And that's a class that's a 1-unit lab class that's entirely dedicated to Python. On top of that, occasionally we allow our students to take elective, to choose computer science or computer engineering classes as electives if they choose so. There has to be like a good plan for adding a computer science class to a biomedical major as an elective. It's not just like because I like it, no, it's because it fits well with your strategy for getting a job in a particular field. And so you discuss that with your undergraduate advisor. That was the last question, I think. Okay, let me try and move on with the, oh, hold on. Would we be able to minor from a different college? A different college at San Jose State? I think so, yes. I think you can minor in BME while you major in chemistry or biology. I think that's possible, right, Gunnar?
Yes, that's possible, but there might be prerequisite classes you need to take.
Correct. Because in order to minor, I think you have to take a number of, like, is it 12 units?
You have a minimum of 12 units.
And some of those 12 units have prerequisites.
Yeah, like 115. So if you come from biology and you've not had differential equations and you want to minor, and 115, the foundations class is a requirement. So we would strongly recommend that you complete your math sequence first before you do that.
Yeah. So if you're coming from another engineering degree and you take a minor in BME, usually the extra load is minimal. If you're coming from a different college, there might be some additional workload because of, again, make sure that you catch up with some of the lower division technical prerequisites for our minor classes. Okay, so this is a recap of things that I've already said, more or less, just going through the slides. These could be useful to you because this is the list of, I don't know if it's useful specifically to you, but this is the list of all the classes that the BME department is offering in fall 2021. If you see, it's a pretty long list considering like the current size of the department. So there is a lot of effort that we put into being able to offer so many classes in a single semester. Of course, there are no classes for freshmen here, just because the way the catalog is organized. So the earliest one is BME 25. So likely you won't be taking any of these classes in your first year, but you will start doing these next year, next fall. Can you indicate which of these fall classes will be held in person? That's a good question, Amanda. And it's a question that as of today, I don't think anybody has an answer, a final answer to. The current plan, and Dr. Salvadore can tell me if I'm up to speed or if my information is outdated. But as far as I know, the plan is to try and offer in person all the labs. So all the wet labs that are part of some of these classes, like BME 115, BME 168, and BME 177, the wet labs will be done on campus, which is something that's already happening this semester. So this semester, our wet labs are, at least some of our wet labs are already done on campus. And on top of that, the plan is to try and offer in person all the lecture, the seminar classes that have enrollment up to 50 students. So if you have a class where there is a small number of students enrolled, you can find a classroom on campus that's large enough so that you can accommodate all the students with the proper social distancing. Some of the classes that we teach, they have like, 70 students, 60, 70 students enrolled, and there is no, except for maybe a couple of auditoriums in the entire campus, there is no classrooms that can safely accommodate 60, 70 students. So this is the situation right now. Again, if my information is up to date, and Dr. Guna will confirm.
Correct.
This may evolve either way from now until the summer. Things could get worse with COVID again, and so we go back to a fully online offering. Or, I mean, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that everybody gets vaccinated by July. And if that happens, maybe the university will have still enough time to do proper scheduling of more classes in person. There is going to be some kind of threshold. So if this like optimistic scenario where everybody's vaccinated and there is no more risk happens in August, then may be too late for the university to actually do the scheduling. So we may still have like most classes online. So I don't know the final answer, but stay in touch. And as we learn more, we'll keep the communication open with our students. Okay, that was the last question so far in the chat. Let me see if there is anything. This is more information for transfer students. I don't think there is any transfer students here. You have this information already. Yeah, you've been already instructed on how My Progress works, I believe. This is Spartan Connect, is the other platform that I was talking about for advising. So if you want to book an appointment with an advisor, either in the program or from the Student Success Center, you refer to this website here. This is how you apply for graduation. It's not currently relevant to you. There is going to be a few years before you get there. These are the faces of BME currently, at least the faculty. We are hoping to add one more face this fall so we can make this 8 and square. This is some of the people who have helped us shape the program the way it is, and were still helping us shape the program for the future years. So we have good connections, as Dr. Guda was saying earlier, we have good connections with companies and professionals in the Bay Area. And some of these people have been kind enough to be willing to give back to our program by supporting our development. Not financially, but they meet with us regularly, like once a year or so, and we discuss what's the state of the field of biomedical engineering, what are the needs that the companies in the Bay Area have, so that as much as possible and consistently and compatibly with our program's mission and goals, we can adjust our catalog and offer to accommodate the needs of the industry. Because at the end of the day, students and industry are some of our important constituents. So we want to make sure that our students end up getting good jobs in these companies in the Bay Area, if they wish so, if the students wish so. This is a few slides where you can see some of the people and activities related to the student chapter. Again, this is a very active chapter. These people here, this is the executive team for academic year 2020, 2021. So these are the people who have been in charge of putting together the conference that took place 2 weeks ago. So during the spring break 2 weeks ago, we had the 11th edition of our annual conference. It's been going on for 12 years. And the only year that we skipped was 2020 because it was right like 2 weeks after we went into lockdown. So it was not possible to organize that conference. We were not equipped for any version of the conference back then. But this year we had enough time, the students had enough time with help from Dr. Guna and Dr. Weber to put together a virtual version, an online version of the conference. So it was like a full conference with presentation and booths, but everything was hosted on an online platform. So you could virtually walk into, the conference rooms, attend presentations, visit the booths of the companies who were sponsoring the conference, talk to them. So, and these 5 people plus about 50, 60 students, I think, Guna, were heavily involved.
30.
I'm sorry?
Another 30 students.
30 students were heavily involved in the organization. On a more regular year where we have an in-person conference, the number of students involved is higher because there is a lot more to do for actually all the in-person logistics and accommodations. This is some information. Again, if you want the slides to review this information, you can ask me or Dr. Guna. These are some of the events and the programs that are supported and developed by the students chapter. This is how you can join. This information is updated to last summer, so I'm not sure if all these links and these figures are still correct, but they're probably very close to the right ones. And these are some of the accolades that our students received. As you can see, twice in the short life of our program, twice they received the top recognition, the top award, which is the Outstanding Student Chapter Award at the National BMES Conference. And a couple of other times they got number 2. So that's pretty good. This is a picture of the people who, these are the students who organized the conference a couple of years back. Again, we skipped 2020 and then we don't have a picture for 2021 because it was done online. So this is the last actual picture that we have from 2019. And you can see there is a large number of students and faculty who participated in this event. And back then in 2019, we had record attendance with close to 500 people between students, professionals, researchers. We had close to 500 people attending the conference. It was a one-day conference. And I think that that's pretty much it. That's some of the testimonials that we have. And that's all I had for you today. Are there any other questions? So Dima is asking about access to the slides. Okay, so I have, I don't have the exact, emails of the students. I only have a list of a few hundred students who were applicants to the program. So let's do it this way. If you want a copy of these slides, would you mind sending me an email? My email address is here on this slide. So send me an email and I'll be happy to respond you with a PDF of these slides. I think that's the fastest way for you to get these slides. Or you can add your emails here and I can, the suggestion from Amanda also works for me. Actually works best for me because I have to send one email to all of you. So your choice. If you want to put the email in the chat, if you feel comfortable sharing your email here in the chat or just privately to me, you can send it private to me. I'll keep track and send you the slides at the end of this meeting. Okay, good. I got 3, 4 already. Prego. I was answering in Italian. Okay. Anything else, Guna, or any other questions from you guys? Before we finish this, I want to take a moment to thank you very much, all of you, for your extreme patience today. I understand that you were planning to be done with this meeting about an hour ago or more. So I'm really sorry about for the technical issues that we experienced today. I hope that in the end you enjoyed talking with or hearing from me and Dr. Salvador. Okay, thank you very much for your patience and for being here.
Yeah, I echo what Dr. Bellafiore said. Thank you very much for being here. We definitely look forward to seeing you on campus in the fall. In the meantime, if you have any other questions, please feel free to send an email to me as well and or Dr. Bellafiore, and we'll give you the best answer we can come up with.
Okay, so I've received about 10 email addresses, maybe a little bit less here. Okay, so I will send the slides to all the emails that are here in the chat. If you haven't put your email address in the chat and you still want the slides, then just send me an email. Either way works for me. Okay.
Okay, and let's give Dr. Bellafiore a big hand of applause for having done this presentation. Thank you very much, Alessandro. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Okay. I think this is it, right?
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
You have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Hold on, Guna, don't end this yet.
No,
I need to. So there is a button that says chat showing finder. Okay. Let me see. So I was able to save the chat as a text file. That's a nice change. And all the email addresses are here. Perfect. I got it. Oh, there was one more. Let me do save again. Okay, perfect. Okay, I got Ike.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye, Guna.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. Appreciate it. This took a lot of your time, I know. And,
a bit more than anticipated, but it's good. It was good.
It was good. I was surprised they stayed this long. All those who came stayed till the very end.
I mean, the pleasure of talking to the chair.
No. You kept them captivated.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Guna.
Okay, thank you, Alessandro.
Bye-bye. See you on Monday.
Yeah, give your little girls a big hug from me.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.